Wynn Las Vegas and the Venetian charge identical $55 resort fees, but one property quietly stacks significantly more hidden charges than the other. When you book a room at these luxury Las Vegas Strip resorts, you are entering a world where the advertised rate is just the beginning of what you will actually pay. Both resorts sit across the street from each other on the Las Vegas Strip. Both charge that infamous $55 resort fee, and both market themselves as the pinnacle of luxury accommodation. Dig deeper into the actual cost of staying at these properties, and you will discover that one resort systematically adds more mandatory charges to your bill than the other. The difference is not small, and it stems from a rivalry between two casino moguls that shaped how these properties operate today. To understand these resort fees in context, Wynn and Encore rank second and third highest on the Las Vegas Strip, while Palazzo comes in fourth. Only Fontainebleau, Las Vegas charges more, at $56.95 per night. This puts all these properties in the same tier as MGM Resorts International properties like Bellagio and Aria, and Caesars Entertainment properties that charge nearly identical rates of around $54 to $55. Wynn and Encore Las Vegas feature 4,748 spacious hotel rooms across 2 towers, with accommodations starting at 640 square feet. The property spans 194,000 square feet of casino space, houses 20 signature dining experiences, and offers amenities ranging from an 18-hole championship golf course to multiple spas and showrooms. At 50 stories tall, the Palazzo towers over its sister property, the Venetian, creating a combined resort with 3,066 expansive suites. Standard suites at Palazzo start at 720 square feet, and together with the Venetian, the properties house over 2.3 million square feet of meeting space and 40 restaurants. The room size comparison reveals an interesting dynamic. While Venetian and Palazzo technically offer larger standard accommodations at 720 square feet versus Wynn's 640, the layouts tell different stories. Venetian and Palazzo feature separate bedroom and living room areas, creating that 2-room suite feeling. Wynn's rooms compensate with what guests consistently describe as bathrooms the size of master bedrooms, and an overall sense of luxury that prioritizes comfort over square footage. Here's where the pricing strategies diverge dramatically. Both properties charge that infamous $55 resort fee, which becomes $56.69 with tax. This fee ranks among the highest in Las Vegas, placing these properties alongside other premium strip operators like MGM Resorts International and Caesars Entertainment in the top pricing tier. But the moment you drive onto the property, the hidden costs start to separate. At Wynn and Encore, hotel guests receive complimentary self-parking. This is not a recent change or a temporary promotion. It is built into their business model. The parking garages sit conveniently located just off Las Vegas Boulevard, and as long as you are a registered guest, you park for free. The Venetian and Palazzo tell a very different story. These properties, now part of the Hyatt Hotels portfolio since January 2025, ended free parking for guests in 2023 and now charge between $18 and $20 per day for the privilege of parking your car while staying at their hotel. This decision was not driven by space constraints or operational costs. It was purely a revenue enhancement strategy, and they described it as anticipated increased demand for parking at nearby attractions, though the real reason was simply another way to extract money from guests. For a typical 3-night stay, your parking cost at Wynn is $0. At Venetian or Palazzo, you are looking at $54 to $60 in additional charges just to keep your car on the property. That is real money for what should be a basic service when you are paying hundreds of dollars per night for accommodation. The resort fee inclusions reveal another layer of this pricing strategy. Wynn's $55 resort fee covers complimentary self-parking for up to 2 vehicles, in-room Wi-Fi at 15 megabits per second, daily bottled water, unlimited local and long-distance calling, fitness center access for 2 people, and access to digital magazines and newspapers. They also throw in Alexa room controls and dedicated concierge services. Venetian and Palazzo's resort fee includes fitness facility access for 2 people at their Canyon Ranch Spa, In-suite internet access at 20 megabits per second, boarding pass printing, unlimited local calls, and access to digital magazines through an app. Notice what is missing? Parking. That is because they charge separately for it. Since joining the Hot Hotels portfolio, World of Hyatt globalists receive waived resort fees on award stays, though this benefit applies only to loyalty program redemptions, not paid stays. The psychology behind this pricing structure runs deeper than simple revenue generation. By separating parking from the resort fee, Venetian and Palazzo create what appears to be price parity with Wynn, while actually charging more. A guest comparing resort fees sees identical $55 charges and might assume the properties cost the same. Only after booking do they discover the additional parking fee. This strategy reflects the broader philosophy differences between these resorts, which trace back to their founders' personalities and business approaches. Steve Wynn built his reputation on creating complete luxury experiences where guests felt pampered rather than nickel and dimed. Sheldon Adelson developed the Venetian and Palazzo through Las Vegas Sands Corporation. He approached hospitality as a series of revenue opportunities, with each amenity priced to maximize profit. The rivalry between Wynn and Adelson was legendary in Las Vegas. Few would call them friendly, given their intense business competition and the properties standing only a single street apart. Rumors circulated that when Adelson opened Palazzo in 2007, he deliberately designed it to cast shadows over Wynn when the sun was positioned just right. Whether true or not, the story captures the competitive dynamic that shaped how these properties operate. Wynn once publicly derided Adelson's first Macau casino as Sheldon's box of baccarat, demonstrating the personal nature of their business rivalry. Yet Adelson could show unexpected magnanimity. He kept the entire Venetian and Palazzo workforce on salary during the COVID shutdown, while other casino operators, including MGM Resorts International and Caesars Entertainment, cut payroll. These contrasting approaches to business extended to how they structured guest fees and amenities. Pool and cabana pricing reveals another dimension of this add-on strategy. Wynn offers poolside cabanas starting at $500, with Labor Day weekend pricing reaching approximately $800 for basic cabanas. The property features three types: standard, premium, and bungalow cabanas, each including complimentary non-alcoholic beverages, fruit platters, gourmet snacks, Wi-Fi, flat-screen televisions, and personalized host service. Crucially, Wynn does not impose minimum food and beverage spending requirements for cabana guests. Venetian and Palazzo take a different approach to cabana monetization. Their pricing starts at $250 Monday through Thursday, jumping to $500 on Friday and Sunday, and $600 on Saturdays. Holiday and peak weekends push prices to $600 per day. Standard cabanas accommodate up to 12 guests and can span up to 788 square feet, featuring air conditioning, private restrooms, stocked bars, and dedicated storage. Here's the catch that separates Venetian and Palazzo's cabana strategy from Wynn's minimum food and beverage requirements. According to guest reviews, minimum spending requirements reach $1,600, pushing total cabana costs to roughly $2,000 after gratuity for groups of 10 people. This mandatory spending transforms what appears to be a $600 cabana rental into a multi-thousand-dollar commitment. The broader industry context makes these pricing strategies even more significant. Resort fees have become one of the biggest frustrations for Las Vegas visitors. Of 90 surveyed hotels in 2025, the average resort fee was $40.04 before tax, representing an 11% increase year over year. Most strip hotels now charge between $40 and $65 per night for amenities like Wi-Fi and gym access that few guests actually use. Federal Trade Commission rules introduced effective May 12, 2025, now require hotels to disclose upfront all mandatory fees and advertised prices, including resort fees. This regulatory change aims to address consumer frustration with hidden charges that operate completely independently from quoted nightly room rates. The timing of these changes coincides with broader concerns about Las Vegas pricing. From 2015 to early 2025, average nightly room rates for strip hotels climbed from about $124 to roughly $210, representing a nearly 70% increase. According to the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, visitor numbers in early 2025 fell short of expectations, with industry observers describing booking levels as the worst they had ever seen. Recent ownership changes add another layer to this comparison. The Venetian joined Hyatt's portfolio in January 2025 after being owned by Vici Properties and operated by Apollo Global Management, potentially altering how the property approaches guest fees and loyalty program benefits. This transition from Las Vegas Sands Corporation ownership represents a significant shift in management philosophy for the iconic property. When you total the mandatory add-on costs for a 3-night stay, the numbers tell a clear story. At Wynn, you are looking at approximately $170 in resort fees, with no additional parking charges. At Venetian or Palazzo, that same 3-night stay costs around $225 to $230 once you add resort fees and parking charges. The difference of $55 to $60 might not seem enormous, but it represents a 32% increase in mandatory fees for identical amenities. This pricing gap becomes more significant when you consider that it applies to every guest, every night. For a property like Venetian or Palazzo, with thousands of rooms, those additional parking fees generate millions in annual revenue that goes straight to the bottom line, much like other major operators, including MGM Resorts International and Caesars Entertainment, have discovered with their own fee structures. The resort fee controversy extends beyond simple pricing to questions of value and transparency. Both properties include amenities in their resort fees that most guests never use. How many travelers actually need unlimited local calling when they have cell phones? How often do guests access digital newspaper subscriptions during a 3-day Vegas trip? Fitness center access might appeal to some visitors, but it is hardly worth $55 per night for most people. What makes Wynn's approach more palatable is that parking is included in the resort fee structure. While you are still paying for amenities you might not use, at least you are not hit with surprise charges for basic services like keeping your car on the property. Venetian and Palazzo decided to charge separately for parking, and that decision feels particularly egregious because parking was free for decades before they implemented these fees in 2023. Cabana pricing strategies reflect broader philosophical differences about customer relationships. Wynn's approach of higher base prices without minimum spending requirements creates transparency about total costs. Venetian and Palazzo's lower advertised cabana rates, coupled with mandatory food and beverage minimums, can mislead guests about actual expenses until they are committed to the reservation. Industry observers note that these pricing strategies reflect different approaches to luxury hospitality. Wynn positions itself as an all-inclusive luxury experience, where higher prices cover most amenities without additional surprises. Venetian and Palazzo operate more like a la carte luxury, where every service and amenity represents a separate revenue opportunity, similar to strategies employed by MGM Resorts International properties like Palazzo and Aria. That competitive dynamic continues to influence Las Vegas hospitality standards. When one resort implements a new fee or amenity charge, others often follow suit within months. The parking fee trend that Venetian and Palazzo embraced in 2023 has spread to other strip properties, though Wynn has maintained free guest parking as a competitive differentiator against rivals like Caesars Entertainment and MGM Resorts International. Consumer advocacy groups argue that resort fees have evolved into a form of false advertising, where hotels quote one price but charge another. The new Federal Trade Commission rules requiring upfront disclosure of all mandatory fees represent a victory for transparency, though enforcement and compliance remain ongoing challenges across the industry. Looking at the total cost picture, Wynn emerges as the property that stacks fewer add-on charges, despite both resorts operating in the same luxury segment with comparable amenities to competitors like Bellagio and Aria. The $55 to $60 in savings over a 3-night stay might not determine your vacation budget, but it reflects fundamentally different approaches to customer relationships and revenue generation. The irony is that both properties deliver exceptional luxury experiences that justify premium pricing within the Las Vegas Strip's competitive landscape, alongside MGM Resorts International and Caesars Entertainment. The difference lies not in quality, but in pricing philosophy. Wynn's approach of incorporating more services into their base fees creates fewer billing surprises, while Venetian and Palazzo use an unbundled pricing strategy that maximizes revenue through incremental charges. For travelers choosing between these properties, understanding these fee structures matters more than ever in an era where even Fontainebleau Las Vegas charges the Strip's highest resort fee at $56.95. The advertised room rate represents just the starting point for your actual costs. When you factor in resort fees, parking charges, and potential minimum spending requirements for premium amenities, the true cost comparison shifts significantly in Wynn's favor. This analysis reveals a broader truth about luxury hospitality pricing. The most expensive advertised rate is not always the most expensive total experience. Sometimes the property that appears cheaper up front ends up costing more through accumulated add-on charges. In the battle of luxury pricing and hidden fees, Wynn wins by being more transparent about what you are actually paying for. Even when both properties ultimately extract similar amounts from your wallet compared to other Strip competitors, the way fees are packaged makes a difference. The resort fee era has trained travelers to expect hidden charges. Understanding how different properties structure these fees can help you make more informed decisions about where your luxury vacation dollars deliver the best value. Between Wynn and Venetian and Palazzo, that value equation clearly favors the property that includes more services in their mandatory fees, rather than charging separately for basic amenities like parking your car.